What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Palace's first European game. Well, second if you count the one. I can't remember even what year it was in. But second or first European game in the Conference League. And we've managed to get the win. But there's a lot to talk about because after the game, Glasgow and Steve Parish speaking to the media, it is not looking good. We're going to discuss that. But first of all, we're going to start off with the performance. Make sure to drop a like, even if you're watching a replay. Really appreciate all the likes and the comments. It takes a second of your time. Let's see if we can hit over 200 likes for the stream, as well as make sure to get involved in the live comment section and in the comment section down below. Let us know your thoughts if you're watching it on replay. I'm joined by Tim here. Tim, it's been a while. It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while since I've done a match reaction. How you been?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I mean, look, I'm glad we're in Europe, but that was not an awe-inspiring performance. But yeah, man, I'm all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Just running all over the place. I was at the game, of course, today. The atmosphere was great, which was a positive, which I expected anyways. But let's get into it. I mean, yesterday the news broke out about Eze, and apparently, well, yesterday it seemed like he was going to play, and today he didn't play. Guehi comes into the side, and Lerma goes into defense. But what was your thoughts on the overall game?
It's a good result. I think not a good performance. But let me start with a couple of positives here. Hit the post 2 times. Munoz definitely should have scored. Sarr should have scored at least once. Mateta's gets a little bit unlucky hitting the post. So it should have been a better scoreline. We get a little bit unlucky. Having said that, I do think there were some inconsistent performances there. And there were some questions about why Edouard comes on. I will get to that. But I thought overall, D, this was one where I can't figure out. I'll be curious what you think about this. Did the team come in thinking, we got this? I mean, we're going to cook these guys. And there's a little bit of overconfidence there. I'm not sure that it's that, but weren't really on it. Like there were just, moments where we were just kind of off it. Guehi is a good example of this. Enterprising, plenty of energy, getting into space, and then just either missing the pass, blazing a shot over the top, just wasn't quite there. So, yeah, that's not the best way to start your European tour, but also not the worst way. You get the 1-0 win.
Yeah, we do get a 1-0 win. I think a lot of people expected a bit more in terms of performance and even maybe scoreline-wise as well. I mean, with all due respect, I think they've only got like 7,000 followers on Twitter. I mean, it's not like a well-known club. But, and look at some of the quality that we have in our side. I think that was the expectations, and I think that's where the disappointment comes from. But saying that, I think not having Eze in the side was always going to be an issue, because
I agree with
when you look at this starting 11, especially with the way that they approach the game, they just sat back. I mean, I've never seen anything to that extent where the striker was literally not even pressing. He was just sitting back in front of the midfielders and the defense. It was very low block, and they were basically asking us, come and break us down. And this is where I had the issues with 2 number 10s. Let me clarify this. I love Sarr to bits, but he specializes in when the ball's in behind and there is space and he runs into it and not many defenders can stop him. When there's a low block, that's not really his game. And then Guehi, similar. I mean, there wasn't much creativity, and I think creativity was the main issue today in terms of breaking them down. When you're looking at who were the creative players, I'm looking at Sosa. Of course, he made his debut at Sellers Park today. Guehi, Hughes. I mean, we're looking at 2 or 3 defenders in terms of creative options. I think that comes down to the lack of options, and this is where the problem really comes for us, is because when you look at the bench, first of all, there's only 9 players on the bench. I believe there were 2 goalies on the bench. And who do you bring on? I mean, today when I saw Edouard come on, I was thinking,
that was confusing, wasn't it? It was very confusing.
And I do want to get into that as well. When I saw Edouard come on, I was thinking, this surely can't be happening. I mean, I'm like, how on earth have you reached this stage after winning the FA Cup, Community Shield, having Oliver Glasgow as a manager? You'd think this is the perfect time to push on, but we haven't signed enough players, and we'll talk about that as well.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, today was missing creativity. Thankfully, Mateta, nice deflected header. And it went in. That was a good finish. And we managed to get a win. And the positive, I guess, going into the next game, two positives. I think defensively we were great. I don't think they offered a lot, even though towards the end of the game there was a bit of a scare when they went in behind. And the other positive is that they're going to have to attack us in the second leg because, that's it. We've got the 1-0 lead. So hopefully there's more spaces in behind. But look, we will be facing teams that will have mid or low blocks like that. And we need creative players. Of course, the circumstances are not ideal. Selling Eze right before this game, and it was similar to losing Anderson last year as well, right before the season started. Well, I think it was after the season started. I can't remember. It's the timings. It's the timings of it, and we haven't got any replacement at the club. And the another disappointment is that next week, even if we do sign anyone, because of the deadline that was yesterday, they can't play in the reverse fixture. Which I guess this squad can get the job done, but. Yeah, I think the frustration really comes from the lack of creativity. But what do you think of Guehi starting today, anyways?
I have no issue with Justin Devaney starting. He's really caught the eye of the manager, and I trust the manager. So that's a non-issue for me. I do think Sarr was a little bit unlucky. I do agree with you that he is tailor-made for runs in behind. He did have a really good run in behind at, I think it was the end of the first half. He actually gets in behind, and then he has a heavy touch, and it goes out for a goal kick. That was terrible. Then he gets a great cross in. He gets the ball, a header right at the keeper. Actually, not exactly right at the keeper, but the keeper does make a good save on it. So he got a little bit unlucky. I thought he was okay. Devaney, I thought, was off of it a little bit. And I do agree with you that he's a direct player, and it does cry out a little bit for who's going to come in and be creative and move that like if you're going to break down a low block, you got to move the defense. You got to move them out of position. And one of the ways you do that is with somebody like Ebbs, who can dribble through players, create some space, force people into different positions, and then you open up a lane. And we just didn't have very much of that. Devaney didn't give very much of that. But again, I do rate him, and I do think he helped defensively. But he's definitely not somebody who comes in to unlock a low block.
Yeah. I can see him doing that deeper role potentially. And to be fair, he has come on in that position before, but maybe not as a starter. Like when you're talking about unlocking defenses. And I mean, the problem is the situation Glaston's in is that if it's not Devaney, who is it? You look at that squad.
Right.
Like, use it. The only other player that I can think of based on the limited appearances that he's had and when he joined us is Eze. And that's when I was very surprised. And
Edward.
It is getting a bit funny. Well, I think it's getting a bit funny. I don't know what you think. The fact that Edward is coming on ahead of Roman Eze.
I know.
What do you think about that situation? About, Eze not getting like a minute, and also Edward coming on the pitch?
That is a real weird one for me. So I posted something before you came into the chat, D. I said, like, I don't understand why Eddie comes on unless there is some sort of belief that because we want to sell him, and we know we want to sell him, we've been talking about this, like all of the reports are out there, that he needs some minutes to kind of showcase himself. But this feels like the wrong format to do that. So I don't know. It was very confusing. So that leads me to the question then, D, which is, does the manager just not believe that Eze is ready yet, or he questions? I don't know. Like, is there anything lingering from Liverpool last season? I hope not, because he played during the preseason. So it's very, very confusing. Now, to be fair to Eddie, and I'd be curious how you thought he played, he had some of his Eddie moments where he just kind of forgets he's on the ball and then gets, I don't know if he got caught out per se, but he just had some moments where he just misplaced pass here, things like it just looked a little absent-minded and a little slow. But then again, he does get into space. He gets a shot, deflected, leads to a corner. So he did have a couple of moments. But I think we agree he's not the guy. So it's really confusing. So is it Eze just doesn't, he just is not going to get Glasner's eye? I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
he hasn't so far. He hasn't so far, and I was very surprised about that sub. I mean, yeah, we are trying to sell Edward, but I mean, this is a player that clearly is surplus. And the fact that he's coming on ahead of Essay, it was surprising because I thought Essay being a bit more direct, taking on the defender, I think it would have potentially suited this game a bit more than what Edward offers in that role.
You would think so, yeah.
Behind the cutter. But Sosa, as I said from the day that he's come in, he looked good. The crosses into
he
the
was
box are
decent.
threat. And I
Yeah.
think this season he'll get more assists as well.
Yeah, I agree.
As the season goes on. What do you think about Sosa's performance?
No, I mean, he needs to perfect his shot, but I think he did exactly what the manager wants from it. I think if anybody comes out looking good in this, particularly in the manager's eyes, I think it's Sosa, because he did get into space. He wasn't afraid to take shots. You saw the manager clapping after he takes shots, even though he skied them. He wanted to get into space and do something. And I thought his crosses were they're definitely a lot better than what we've seen from Ty. He does get into space. He can deliver a cross. I especially like he has that outside of the boot cross that he can do. Which is this is pretty nice. He's pretty good at that. So yeah, I think he comes out looking pretty good. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, in the games that he has played, he looked exciting. And I thought this was a game for Sosa. I said it in the preview as well. I thought this was a game for Sosa because of the fact that I expected Fredrikstad to literally sit back as they did. And I mean, Sosa is meant to be better on the ball going forward. So I don't think we really needed Ty much defensively. And I think that's why he took the gamble with Lerma as well. But I think the biggest thing coming out today, and we will go to the comments as well, is the fact that we need players. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not something I've said that no one knows, but we desperately need players. We've needed players even before the season started. You look at the bench, there isn't that many options there. I think we've got a very good starting 11, but there are comments that's coming out after the game from Steve Parish and Oliver Glasner. I think from Oliver Glasner, a bit more concerning than it is from Steve Parish based on how he's viewing things. And I feel like we saw it once again today, which was the disappointing part of it. But I guess we've got time. Eze's gone, and that's confirmed. I think Steve Parish even said it as well after the game, and Glasner said it. The best of luck to him. I mean, he's left with a legacy at Palace. It will never be forgotten. But for me, it's not about Eze leaving and one player coming in. Otherwise, there's no point of selling Eze. It would be the dumbest thing ever. We need to at least have, two players in the number 10 role on top of Wang, I think. So I think we need 3 attackers at least. And then another position that we're not really discussing anymore because we're saying that we're tight is centre-back.
Yeah.
Look, today, Lerma played in defence. He's not bad centre-back. I feel like all along, whenever he's needed, he comes in, he does a role there, but he's not a centre-back. And I've said this from day one. He's not a centre-back. We need an actual centre-back, backup centre-back that can play there. Lerma on the ball is limited. But when you're playing him in defence, I guess he's kind of better because he's not as needed as in midfield. But so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we do with that money. But in terms of like the overall performance, anything else to really add? I mean, it's positive that we're going to the next leg 1-0. Are you confident that we can get the job done?
No, I do think we can get the job done because I think defensively we were very solid. And I'll just, I think Lerma this season will play more at center back than he will in midfield. I think I do agree that his passing range isn't what we want in that position. I wouldn't disagree with you there, D, but he's very solid there.
Defensively he's very solid. He's always solid. I think even when he's playing in midfield, defensively he's solid. I think his limitations come when he's on the ball.
I agree with that, and I think Glasner trusts him to do a job there. So I think we'll see him at center back a lot. The question is, when do we get Riyad back, and do we buy a center back with? I'm with you. I think so. Overall, I think we can get the job done. I primarily believe we'll get the job done because I think you're likely to see Richards. You're likely to see Ty. We will make it immensely difficult on them and probably put the team in position where Sarr can get in, get runs behind. You get 1 or 2 goals in Norway, and then that's it. That's the ball game. But we do need players, and we need to talk about that because the depth is not there, and I'm deeply concerned about that, but I'm not deeply concerned about the reverse fixture. But I am concerned about our season and some of these comments that we heard, D, and I know we need to get into that.
I think that's the most concerning thing. We already know that we need players, but when it's coming out of Glasner's mouth as it is, it's kind of that's when it gets concerning. But we'll get into that. As always, make sure to send in the comments, hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Let's bring on some of the callers. If you do want to call into the show live, you can click on the pinned comment to join us tonight. So we'll talk about the game, and then afterwards we'll get into Steve Parish and Blas's post-match comments. Let's start off with Patrick. Patrick,
hang on, guys. I'm going right out front at the bar here. Hold on.
No worries.
All right. Usually I mute myself, so this is a little different sitting outside the bar. All right, so let me get the positives out of the way. It's a clean sheet, and it's a 1-0 lead.
There you go.
That's that. Number 2, good luck to Eze. I don't like Spurs, so anytime you can punk them out, that's funny. Don't like the timing of it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But again, we could do a whole podcast on that. But I wish him luck. He's been a great servant. He's done great things, and nothing negative to say about him. Good luck along the way.
Agreed.
I don't think he's going to the better manager, but I think Glasner's better than Arteta. But hey, let the Arsenal fans talk about that. So you were talking about transfers. We need 4. We need 4 in. I don't care if they're loans. I'd rather have permanent sales. We need 4. We need a center back because look, I agree, Tim. Lerma's playing center back this year. That's the way that's looking. We need I think another midfielder and 2 number 10s. But one thing Glasner needs to do, I don't care if he doesn't have confidence in the bench. You spent money on Essie, play him. You got Raksaki still on the bench, play him. I don't want to hear I can only bring off 2 guys off the bench. No. Now they might fail.
What if they're not good enough? What if the manager doesn't rate them? I mean, this manager clearly he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. What if it's a case of they're not training well? You want
to burn the starters out by the end of September?
But it's not Glasser's fault. I think Glasser's been
no, it's not. No, it's not. But the only way you're going to find out is if you play them. Now he might not rate them, but this is where it gets into that bad talking about ownership, which I try not to do this every time I'm on this thing. But look, Woody Johnson, Tim will understand this maybe a little bit more, but Woody Johnson, I'm gonna leave him hanging for a minute. With the Jets, he sucks, but he spends money, but he's horrible with the Jets. And from a sporting achievement, the other 2, along the Sixers and all the other teams that for years I've been complaining about, they've accomplished nothing. Businessmen, yeah, they're great, but sporting achievement, the only thing they've won is the FA Cup. We need them 2 to put out of their pockets. Now, this is Tim. Maybe you can explain this, but the other 2, what is it? Harris and Blitzer. They need to come out of them 2 clowns. Need to come out of their pockets to spend some money because is Woody Johnson allowed to spend money now since he just bought the club?
I think the complication. I think Tim will know better than me. But Bruno from the Palace Way and Bobby Manzi, they looked into it and they spoke about it. But it seems like the complication is that if Woody Johnson wants to put in money, then all the other shareholders will have to put the equivalent part, Tim, or the shares will get diluted. Is that correct?
Yeah. Anytime yes. So if it depends on how they do it, but if you are going to give Johnson the opportunity to buy more shares, then what you would do probably is just issue more shares. You'd make the pool bigger so that Woody Johnson can buy a bunch of shares. But once you make the pool bigger, you make everybody else's stake smaller so you dilute them. You make the pool bigger, everybody else has a little bit less, and they probably don't want that. But I don't see any reason why, Patrick, you couldn't have Woody Johnson do, the Tony Bloom strategy. Hey, you know what?
If he spends the money, it's fine by me. Yeah. I don't care who spends it, but I have no confidence in Blitzer and Harris. Harris is more caring about the Red or Commanders or whatever the hell they want to call themselves, and putting a women's basketball team in Philadelphia. And Blitzer, I don't know what the hell he does. He ruins the New Jersey Devils. But that's my concern. Like, I hope Woody Johnson spends. I don't care who spends the money. I'm not the biggest fan of Parrish, but I know he has the club's heart, like that the club's main business in his thing, but he just don't have the money. We're owned by 3 billionaires. For Christ's sake, spend some money. There's no way you got the best team Palace has had in forever. It was for all the crap that Texter gets for whatever reasons. His money was spent. He's the one that bought Guehi and Eze and all the good players we had. And are we going to go back to the days we're buying over the hill Cahill? I don't mean to go panic mode, but Glasner literally said, "Get me players and get me early," and they haven't. Yeah. So they can use about the Europa League or the conference excuse all they want. All they needed was 3. Sorry to blow your ear out, D. But all they needed was 3 or 4. That's all they needed. And now we literally got to depend on Woody Johnson. As an American, Tim will understand how bad that really is.
Yeah. No, I mean, look.
Do you think we will get the job done? Do you think it's a case of we just don't have the money? Well, it seems like if they don't want to put the money into the football club and we have to be self-sustainable, it seems like we didn't have the cash. Steve Parish said that we're still paying for players that we bought in the past. So do you think with Eze now going, do you have the confidence that we will spend the money and get the players in that we need?
Well, the track record says if I go off last year, because if you go off what they've sold, they've put back in. So, like, for instance, Anderson was sold last year. They bought Lacroix. Wan-Bissaka was sold. It paid for the academy. And I think Texter did the rest of that. But so I believe whoever they sell, they'll put the money in. But I don't have any faith in the other two. So it's 50-50. We need to get healthy too. We need to get we're out 4 players. I mean,
that doesn't help
Franca's
as well.
Franca and Kamada. We need Franca back. We need Kamada back. We don't need a lot. We just that's what has pissed me off over the years. It's like, especially now, Eze's going to get sold. Fine, I get that. Guehi's going to walk away. That's just the nature of the beast. But other teams reinvest. Like we got $67 million. It was good business. But now, what are you going to do with it? Like, are we going to wait till the last day? Or are you going to get this man 3 players now? Because even though this tie is 1-0, that's great. But it's only 1-0. If you want to get to Europe, you want to get through it, get them some damn players. That's it.
I mean, it's going to be, to be fair, and I have these concerns too, Patrick, to be fair, it's always more difficult than it comes across. And even then, the reason it's difficult isn't so much about the money. It's about the wrangling, the public wrangling. So now we have money, and let's say we want to get Bilal El Khanous, right? Like that's a player we are targeting. Leicester wants a premium fee, and they know we're going to get money, and so they're not going to back off that premium fee, and then it becomes this, it really is. I don't want to excuse here, because the other side of this is that the only way, really, there's only 2 ways you get deals that are, better, like the kind of deals you want if you're Palace, is you basically get money at the beginning of the window, whether you like draw down debt or you get money from owners, and then you buy at the beginning of the window before everybody is looking at what you sold. And so then you have a bit of bargaining power. Or at the very end of the window, when everybody who hasn't sold is desperate to sell. And neither of those is great. I mean, the first one's better than the second one, but it is harder. But I that's still, at this point, there's no room for excuses anymore. Like,
right.
we have to get business done now. So it is going to be harder.
And do they even have a sporting director? Or I've read that the guy from the Wolves.
Yeah, Matt Hobbs.
Is he like
Matt
official
Hobbs has a
now?
good. Yeah, and he has
He
a
has
good
a good track record.
He has
Yeah.
a good track record.
But
But
still hasn't
apparently,
joined the club. I think C. Parish, we're going to go into the comments as well. C. Parish did say that he spoke to Dougie about targets. So even though Doug's not at a football club, they still have communication about targets. He's saying that's not really the issue. But Patrick, just quickly, the not even reverse fixture, next fixture against Forest. How are you feeling with this current squad?
that's a great question.
Forest is a better team without Eze. And we're only going off this game. So without Eze, Forest is a better team. So I think Forest will win. But I don't really care about the game. I do care about it, but I don't expect them to win it because Forest are a better team right now.
Yeah.
Now ask me that in the reverse fixture later, depending on what they do, then but I always thought the beginning was going to be a little hard because I thought somebody would be sold. The point at Chelsea was great because it's one I didn't expect. And it wouldn't surprise me if we play. I mean, I expect us to play well against Forest. I don't see where I with the lack of depth, and I just think Forest is a better team right now. But it's the second game of the season.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it long term. Like get some players in.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get 4 in a week, but the bigger question is two things real quick before I go. Is Kamada going to be able to play against Forest? And if not,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if he will because he wasn't training ahead of Fredrikstad, so I don't know if Forest will be too quick for him.
Okay, and who do you think starts in Eze's place? Are they going to stick with Delaney or I'm sorry, the guy that? Yeah.
There's no one else.
Well, I mean,
it's two Glasner rays.
If he doesn't think S is ready, and I genuinely I don't want to even talk about it. Edward. Like what?
No.
Edward.
No.
Like what else
so
is there?
It's Devaney or Essie, and they're not going to play Essie, so it's Devaney.
Yeah. So that's what it's looking at. Let's see. Unless we sign someone in the next few days. Yeah. Let's see.
I think we'll play hard. I think we'll play direct against Forest, but I just think at this moment that one's a little too tall order. I hope I'm wrong because I don't like that clown you argue with all the time, Wolfie. That's Goldbridge's or Goldberg's love child, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, the game is going to be feisty. I'll tell you, the game is going to be feisty in general because I've seen a report that Crystal Palace have been speaking with the police about the Forest fans, the Palace fans. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting atmosphere because it's going to be.
But you know what? You know what? Palace has had worse teams and pulled up bigger upsets.
Yes,
for sure. So that's where I'm going with. All right, guys. Look, we're up 1-0. We'll finish it. We'll finish that off. That I have confidence in. So
there you go.
But you guys have other people on here, so you take care.
All right, then take care, Patrick.
Good to see you.
If you want to have your say, just like Patrick, click on the pinned comment and you can join us live. If you haven't already done so as well, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. There's nearly 200 of you watching live, and I know a lot of you watching replay. It takes a second and helps us out massively. Let's bring on Dan. Dan, Palace's first European game. Second, depending on how you view it, and we managed to win. But what do you make of the performance?
The performance was all right. We kind of just strolled to victory. It wasn't. They're nothing really. If I'm being brutally honest with you, they're a good League One team. They didn't really pose much threat. The long throw was a bit tasty, but they didn't pose enormous problems. And I was glad that game just got out of the way. I just didn't want a banana skin.
Yeah. We did manage to get out of the way, but it wasn't easy. I mean, we did hit the post a couple times. As the game went on, I guess we had a few more chances in front of the goal, but it seems like the main issue that I noticed, I don't know about you, was creativity, which
I didn't want to come on here and bitch and moan. I always say, "Oh, he's gone." You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you lose someone like that, it's like Zaha or Eze or Wharton or anyone. A team is always going to struggle.
Yeah.
And the thing is, now we have to concentrate. Like as Paris said, he needs to get bodies in over the line, and Glasner said he needs to get bodies in over the line. We have to do that. It's it's a necessity that's got to be done. That has to be done because I can see us doing the Leicester. You know, we won the Leicester won the FA Cup previously the year before. They sold a couple of their players and then bang, went down.
Yeah, how many players do you think we need?
Not as brutal as that, but like, you know what I mean? I'm starting to worry. I've been worried all the way through, thinking, are not Eze and Guehi going to stay? But say Guehi does go, then we're stuck in the situation. You know, everyone's saying we can't lose 2 players in the one window. You know, like I'm petrified that Guehi's just going to go because we need it looks like we need the money. I don't know what the crack is. You know, all these years of not spending money, and we haven't got a penny and we're just slowing the market yet again, and potentially we could lose another manager.
I want to quickly go to the game and then we'll go back to the transfers. Sosa, he started today. I thought he was a real positive. I thought Hughes was a positive as well. Guehi on the ball. For you, what did you make of Sosa's first start at Selhurst Park?
Yeah, he looked okay. To be fair, he's more of an attacking threat than what Mitchell is. You know, I think they're 2 different players. Like Mitchell's defensively sound. You know, his attacking leads a lot to the imagination. But Sosa looked comfortable. He looked comfortable going back, tracking back, and he looked comfortable also swinging the ball in. You know, maybe that will work this year. I hope it does. You know, but I can't see him getting ahead of Ty. He's not on Ty's level, if I'm being honest with you. But it's a squad. It's a squad. It's a body. It's a body at the end of the day. And I think he painted a perfect picture for himself.
Yeah, and I think it's important as well because now you can see we can rest Ty. I think that's been the biggest factor over the years where we just didn't have any other options. And he looks like a solid option. It's not like we're just playing him for the sake of it. He looks like a solid option. It seems like with the left wing back position,
£3.5 billion for an attacking left back, man. This is a snip.
Yeah,
it is still. It is still. But in terms of, you know, you spoke about business that needs to get done. What needs to be done, in your opinion, for us to now push on and make sure Glasner's happy as well?
I've been hearing lots of rumors. If these rumors are true, then I think it's a 8 out of 10 window. If I'm being brutally honest with you, you know, Jacob Kubior, I think that's why that one is a must. Either a loan buy or potential buy. Maybe Dimonde on a loan buy or potentially a buy without a Jacob Kubior. One of them 2. I think we need the centre back 100%. I think we should go for that guy from Marseille, the one that slapped his feet.
Jonathan Rowe.
Yeah. I don't know. With that, I said it on Palace News as well. I don't know if Palace would go for a player like that, considering characteristics are very important as well. I'm not saying I know the player, but the player just been literally listed for slapping someone. I don't know if that would push Palace maybe away from it because we haven't been linked with him. In this window, despite us being linked with him in previous windows. But Bilal Kounoussi has been linked, Tyler Dibben's been linked. How many attackers do you reckon we need? Wang?
I think we need Wang as a backup for Nketiah and Mattel. And then I feel we need 2. I feel we need 2 in the middle, either maybe a midfielder, and we desperately need that number 10. So either El Kounoussi or I don't know who else has been linked with this geezer from Villarreal today as well. So what I'm hearing from the Guardian, I think it was the Guardian. I read it. I read a little bulletin today, but I was watching the Palace way last night. Bobby Manzi and like Bobby Manzi is like he's very got his cards close to his chest. He doesn't really want to reveal anything. So like, is it maybe I don't know, but I think 4, possibly 5 are going to come through. I believe.
So do you have faith then that we will get those players in then?
Yeah, I believe 4 players, maybe potentially 5, will come through. He needed to know what the prices were, for the Conference League from Europe. You know, the breakdown of money, I think it works out to be about £20 million or something like that.
I
So
think Europa
That's
League.
if you win.
yeah,
That's if you win. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the breakdown of that needs to be worked out properly, and then this week is a really, really important week. We need three. We need at least three, possibly four.
Just quickly looking ahead to the Forest game, it's going to be a 5-1, I guess, with all the UEFA situation that went on. Based on today's performance and the players that are currently at the football club, how do you think we would approach that game?
Forest are going to be more. Forest are going to be more attacking, you know, and they're going to open up a lot more. Whereas this team today, they just sat down like Palace used to do in the Roy Hodgson way. They just sat back and absorbed it. I don't think Forest will do that. I think Forest will come out for the throat, and then potentially, I'm kind of hoping Makazaki starts in the 10. But again, I can't see that. I think he'll just go with a tried and trusted method. But if Rakizaki starts, I think potentially there or SA even potentially there could be issues. You know, because Nico Williams isn't the strongest of left or right backs wherever he plays. But yeah, there is potential to be attacked, but I don't know, maybe a draw. I'm hoping for a win, but I don't want to lose this game. I really do not want to lose this game.
Yeah,
I want to stick it to Wolfie like you did the other day. That was absolute madness, bro. That was so funny. Honestly, I was wetting myself, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about that. It's about starting the season strong. I think it'll be disappointing if we start the season slow. And we're talking about transfers once again because Glasgow spoke about this last season, and it seems like
on a realistic note, I don't think our season starts until we know that we qualify for the Conference League, which is probably without doubt now. I don't think our season starts until the beginning of next month, and then that's when the window slams shut, and then that's what we know what we got to work with. And that's all, and that's when Glasgow will say, "Right, come on, let's go."
Yeah, let's see. But look, Dan, always a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully, catch up with you again soon.
And you, man.
Great job, Dan.
Take care.
All right.
That was Dan having a say. If you do want to call into the show, click on the pinned comment in the live comment section, and you can join us live.
Before we go to the next one, D, let me ask you, because I don't think we've given either of us have given our what would you want? Like, so we don't have much time left. We know we need players. I know what I want. What do you want?
I think what we need is if we're getting rid of Eze, it makes no sense to bring in another number 10. Like, for me, it'd be pointless because we didn't need to sell Eze, right? If you sell Eze, bring in only one number 10, then that's a failure from the football club because you're not improving the squad depth. You're just
completely agree with that.
You're doing Eze more of a favor than us, which I understand, of course, but it's still a business. So I think we need two number 10s. I think we need another centre back. I'm not hopeful of us getting one. Maybe we use the loan market. And then I think Wang as well from Wolves. So I think ideally 3 attackers and a centre back, at least, 3 to 4 players if we're selling Eze. Other than that, I think it'll be a disappointment. I think there'll be no point of even selling Eze, especially after his release clause expired. So we have to be confident that we can get those players in. If we're not, I don't understand the whole point of selling Eze. It'll be the dumbest thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Guehi would have made sense, for example. He's got 1 year left, but Eze, we didn't have to sell him. But I think we will do. I think we will do because there's a lot of pressure on Steve Parish towards the end of the window, especially with Glasgow's comments that we're getting to. What about you?
That's what I was going with. It doesn't have to be 2 10s, but it does have to be 2 attackers for me and a center back. I would like 2 creative players plus a center back. I'd like to do that with primarily the Ebbs money, and then I would like to loan Wang Hee-chan for depth at the striker position. We are desperate for depth at the striker position, but I fully agree with that. And then I want to get Edouard out as quick as humanly possible. And apparently Glasner said there were 2 players on the bench who have been told they can go, but we better get them out.
Did he say that? I didn't see that. Edouard is definitely one of them. I'll tell you that because of his wages, like more than anything. If you get rid of his wages, it saves us time. And also, I've always been on the stance of there's no point of having players there on a bench for the sake of just having them on a bench. Like,
fully agree with that. Yeah,
and I felt I was doing the right thing, like slowly moving on from there. Then this summer, all of a sudden, we've kind of ended up in a similar position. You're looking at the bench, you're looking at Edward. I mean, we don't want Edward. It's clear, like the club doesn't want Edward, and it's just there.
No.
Came on today, but yeah, it's pretty pointless. But
yeah,
I think
we agree on that. I've four players, 1 loan, 2 creative, permanent young creative players. Get a center back. Can be an experienced center back. It's fine. I could still see Mofi Jemede being the 5th center back, but we do need center back depth. We just do. So like, yeah, I'm with you. All right. I just wanted to check that. Let's see if anybody disagrees with us here.
Yeah. We'll go through the comments as well. Let's bring on Nosa. Nosa, 1-0 win against Fredrikstad. Your thoughts on the performance?
Good evening, guys. Good evening. I thought the result was more important than a performance, in my opinion, because pressure comes in these type of moments. You know, it's the first time playing in Europe for most of the players. So I'm happy. The 1-0. Of course, we could have got more goals. We missed quite a few big opportunities, but it is what it is. Given the fact that we got the lead, it just gives us that cushion when we go to their 4G pitch or 5G, whatever you want to call it. And it allows them to come and play, because you know when you're behind, everyone plays football. You have to come and play. Leave space from behind, and obviously it gives us opportunity to capitalize on the space behind. So I'm not overly worried about that, but the performance reflected on the lack of depth within the squad, and everyone knows this was nothing new to none of us. However, this is just it just showcases like the naivety from the people ahead, like on top, because other teams, I always compare other teams. Like they don't mind spending 30, 40 million for solid players that in their mid-20s, they're polished, they've been in the Prem or whatever top 5 leagues in Europe. And I don't know, I just feel like we always want to go for the bargain buys, and it's getting frustrating, because if you want to really go to that next level, you have to go for them solid players that's had like 7-8 years in their careers. They're in their mid to late 20s, and they know how to just really capitalize and just go for it in their position. Like Sar was a good buy. We got him for the cheap, but I think it was an amazing buy. We need to replicate that in other areas, you know. This is similar to like Bolton. When Bolton was flying back in the early 2000s, they didn't spend. Then they went completely down. I don't know who mentioned, I think it was Dan. It was a Leicester. I don't want to be too pessimistic, but the showcase of like lack of creativity today was just a reflection of us not really capitalizing on what we can get to, if that makes sense.
Do you think it's a case of the club not having the money? It seems like that's been an issue, and now that we will spend after selling Eze and getting, I don't know, potentially 65 million pounds.
We've been in the Prem for 13 years, so 13 years gives you a financial stability above most clubs. And the likes of Bournemouth, they're paying 30, 40 million for centre backs from Lille and stuff like that, and it just comes to my attention like, why can't we do that? We don't always have to go for bargain buys. I know it looks good for the books, and obviously from a business perspective and the infrastructure at which they operate at, it benefits the club. However, there's some seasons where you just have to prioritize how the club will perform over your financial status, and I just think that this is the season to do so. Regardless if we're not in the Europa League or in the Conference League, it's still a like credible competition, you know. That's why this team, they played 5 at the back, they parked the bus, and I think they defended well. Credit to them. You know, like they're probably Championship League 1 level, but they made it hard for us. And the players that we have, such as Devaney, such as Edouard, they're good. I think they're good players, but you can't replace Eze. I don't think you can replace Eze. You can't replace players like Elise. They're one of one, in my opinion. But if you integrate players like Sar, where he's got a unique skill set that can be utilized within our team, it'll make sense, you know. And those are the type of signings that I like. Players that people not necessarily count them out, but they don't really have the best looking, and then you bring them in the team. Glasner showcased in the system, and then he was one of our best performing players last season. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just going above and beyond from the traditional 10 to 15 million buys. I know Nketiah was like a 30 million signing last year, but some signings just don't go well, and that's just the nature of football. So it's I think it's just I'm not in that line of business or line of work, but I just think it's a bit naive, the fact that we always want to go for the bargain buys. We don't have no money, all this, the discourse of that, and it just, this rhetoric has just been going on for years now, and we're at a position where we can capitalize on bringing more attractive players, and we're just not going for it. We want to sell Eze, we want to sell Guehi, and I don't know the infrastructure of the business on the back end, but there's players, I mean, there's clubs that are in much less positions than us, like the likes of Wolves, the likes of Bournemouth. I know they're around the same level of us in terms of where they finished, but Fulham, for example, they're spending players on 20, 30, 40 million players, and we should be able to replicate that, especially the fact that we've got teams, we've got a competition in Europe.
The problem with Bournemouth, for example, just to give you the other side of perspective, is that they've sold players. I'm looking at transfer market, and they've sold players around 229 million euros that they've gained this summer, and they have spent 121. So I mean, they have spent money, but they've sold Huijsen for 62 million euros. They sold Kirkus to Liverpool for 46 million, Otara to Brentford 42. So, you know, they had another sale for 63 million. So they you know, they've had big sales. So I think it's a case of, would you rather that the club did sell and spend big, or would you rather that we kept some of our other players and spent a little less? Like, I understand that. I think we should be spending money as well. We got 3 billionaires. 100%. I don't think financially we're in a bad position, but it seems like even if the billionaire owners did want to put money in, it seems like it's not as straightforward, because I don't want to put the blame on Steve Parish, but I mean, he's the odd one out there in terms of not having the wealth that other owners have. So, and if they wanted to put in money, then that it will dilute the, you know, everyone shares. So everyone needs to match up with the ambition. But I think with Bournemouth, for example, you're saying, you know, they have spent money. I agree with that, but they've also sold a lot of players.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's something I don't know. It's probably because I'm speaking from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah, which I understand, because I agree as well.
No, but it's a good point though, Nosa. I mean, I guess here's the question, and I struggle with this too, and I'd be curious what you think about this.
Sorry, we've been in the Prem for 13 years. Like, we're not a little club no more. Like, we're a mid-table club.
Definitely not. No, we're definitely not we're definitely not a little club anymore. But here's something we haven't yet done, and I'm curious if you think this is something we can get to. You could argue that this is a drawback of Steve Parish. He falls in love with his players. This is one of the things that's true about him as a fan. He does. He falls in love with his players. And this is one of those rare times, like selling Ebbs. This is one of those actually rare times where at a player's peak value, we sold them. We almost never do that.
I think it's out of desperation though, Tim. I don't know if we would sell Eze. I genuinely don't know if we would sell Eze if one, Glasner wasn't speaking about wanting players, and two, if we didn't have cash flow issues. I don't know if we would sell Eze. I don't know. I feel like we would have kept him again.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I think that this is the thing. Like,
it's a surprise. Model. This is a surprise, because you saw last year with Guehi, we could have got £70 million potentially for Guehi, but we were like, oh, it's too late in the window. We want to keep our best players. And that is the Palace that we know. We don't really operate like a Brighton or even like a Bournemouth.
No, we don't.
They'll sell a lot of players and generate a lot of money, and then they'll spend a lot of money. We don't operate like those clubs. And you know what? I haven't been against it, because I would rather we keep our best players. But I think with the Eze situation, I think it's out of desperation, because it makes. I mean, we don't need to sell Eze. His release clause expired, but I think it's a case of we don't have any money and we're trying to be self-sustainable. And I think that's where a lot of Palace fans have this issue with, why can't our owners put more money into the football club? Why do we have to sell Eze?
No, I get it.
And I think that's what it comes down to. Other than that, I mean, we're not. I mean, we have sold players, but traditionally we're not that selling club like other Premier League clubs do.
That is.
But I think that's why Parish sold them anyways, because of money issues.
But the model does require. Like, the model we're moving to, this is the point that I think you're making, Nosa, is the model requires us to become a selling club, and we've never been that. And so here we are now, and are we actually going to do it? Because we're at this, I think one of the issues is we're in this weird place where we know we got to do it, but we don't really want to do it, but we know we got to do it, but we don't really want to do it because we love our players and they're Palace players and we're not a selling club. And it leaves us in a weird place.
Well, we've done it with Eze. So we've done it with Eze. We've cashed in. And now let's see what we do with that. As I said, we need to bring in players, not only one player. We need to bring in, if we want to still improve as a football club, it's not you sell one, buy one. You sell Eze and then you improve the whole squad. So you're in a healthier position. So let's see what we do with that. But just quickly going back to the football note, sir, we have got Forest in a few days' time. How are you feeling about that game?
See that game? We got to go Hodgson style with that game. Roy Hodgson. We got to play Roy Hodgson football for that game to win. That's the only way I see us winning. Counter-attack football. Just feed off scraps because Nottingham look dangerous. I watched them against, was it Brentford? Yeah, Brentford. I watched them against Brentford and they look dangerous. We lack creativity. It goes without saying. But I think with Sam, Mateta, Devaney's energy and his pacing behind, we could hurt them. But I just think we're going to be a bit limited. I'm a bit frustrated at the fact that Esse's not playing and Edouard coming on. I know you guys were speaking about that, but that just I just felt so bad for him because in as much as he's not as experienced as the other players, I think he's a top quality player because other clubs were interested in him as well. The likes of Bournemouth, I think, and Brighton, if I'm not mistaken, were interested in him. So it just showcases his quality. So even Raksak here, he's been in this circus of just leaving on loan, play other teams wanting him up and down business. It's a bit frustrating. Obviously, I'm just a fan, but I don't know how the board are moving regarding them two players because they're both from South London. I know they both love the club, so I don't know what direction we're going. But for the weekend, I think we can edge a win. It'll probably be a scrappy win, but I wouldn't be surprised if we draw.
Yeah. Well, we normally draw against Forest anyways, but appreciate you coming on, bro. Hopefully we catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Nosa.
Likewise. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
You too. Take care.
That was Nosa having to say. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button, people, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're going to go through Steve Parish and Glas's comments as well because I think we have to. I asked him before, and if you had the time, and I've got time as well, and I think it's worth speaking about that. Should we go through it now?
Yeah. Let's do it. I mean, we can't avoid it, D. We've got to. This is where it gets weird, and I think. I guess we're going to have to, you read the comments. I'm nervous that we're going to have a lot of really upset.
Well, there is a lot of people upset regardless of even seeing the comments. I don't know if they've seen the comments beforehand and they're commenting now, but I can tell a lot of frustration in the chat. I can.
Yeah.
Which I understand because a lot of people are worried about Glas now. Clearly, he's our best manager that 100%. We've had personally. And it's just a case of, back him. And I agree. If Glazen needs backing, if he wants backing, this is the time. If you want to take a risk, this is the time to take a risk. This manager literally proven himself. If you want to go and push the limits a bit, then you go do that. If Glazen wants players, but I don't know. Let's go and let's see some of these comments. I'm going to put it out on the screen as well.
I do appreciate the banter, by the way, from Chris from Bollocks asking me if I'm related to Hughes. And I wish that I was related to Will Hughes, but I'm an older man now. But when I was younger, I was a ginger. So
that is funny.
He is not a ginger. So we are not related. But man, yeah, if I would love that if I was related to Yuzi.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll go through some Palace report tweets, and we'll go Bobby Manzi as well. He was at the post-match press conference. Glasner said the following: if Mark leaves, maybe I'll try my boots because I was a centre back. We have to act. It's Crystal Palace's future, and we need to add numbers. So mentioning about potentially Guehi leaving. I can't play that video because it will get copyrighted. See Paris speaking as well. Here we go. See Parish on Eze. He's saying he's been fantastic for the club, and we are pleased that he's going to fulfill the ambitions that he's got. The king is dead. Long live the king. We have to try use the money and give ourselves a stronger base. Parish, of course, talking about we have to use the money. I mean, not rocket science from him.
Nope.
Glasner. Talking about Guehi. If Mark wants to sign a new contract, then he can stay. This ain't. I don't know if this was Glasner. Here, Palace report says Glasner. Ed Aaron says Glasner, but I saw Steve Parish say something similar as well about Guehi, saying if he wants to sign a new contract, then he can stay. So I don't know if this Glasner actually said this, to be fair. It's a difficult situation. Everyone has to tell players to comply with the rules. There's a situation that we'll have to look at in the next 11 days. What's your thoughts on potentially Guehi leaving as well in this window?
I'm dead set against it. I am a 1,000,000% behind Glasner on this.
I think this was actually Parish. I need to check, but I heard Parish. I watched the interview, and Parish literally said similar things. I don't know if Glazer said the
that quote probably. I think you're probably right, D.
I think it's Steve Parish.
I think it probably is Steve Parish, but the one before it, where essentially Glasner saying like Mark can't leave, we need him to stay. I'm like, yes, we need him to stay. Like I am all for. I don't want us to lose a player on free, but what's more important, D? The most important thing, the base of this team is that back line. That back line is why we did. I mean, all due respect to Ebbs, and he was amazing. That run last year through the FA Cup, he led us through it, and he was amazing. But the other reason that we won that FA Cup is that back line was unbelievable. One of the best defenses in the Premier League all of last season. If we can keep that back line together, we have a legitimate shot to build something, because on the left side, we're going to be rebuilding. And so we're going to need something that is like known, sturdy, predictable. And that back line can be it. So I am dead set against selling Mark.
This is where the issue lies. Glasner literally said that if we sell Guehi, then I might as well pull my boots. Parish, on the other hand, is saying we have to look at the situation. We might need to sell him if he doesn't sign a new contract. I mean, this is the issue. It seems like the manager.
Oh yeah.
And Steve Parish and Glasner, they're on different pages.
Yeah, and that is a worry, D. Tell me what you think about that, because to me that's what gives me anxiety.
But this is the issue. I don't know what people think, but if Steve Parish somehow bottles this with Glasner, a lot of people will go. I mean, Glasner holds a lot of power in this club now.
He really
does. So
and rightfully so, by the way.
A lot of people will go against him, so it's not a nice situation to be in. And this is what Bobby Manzi said after the game. Said Oliver Glasner's comments post-match were extremely concerning. However, what is even more worrying for Crystal Palace is the ease which Glasner and Steve Parish undermined each other within a matter of minutes. Ugh. Serious work needed.
Jeez, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I need to clean up my language, but like that makes me so nervous, Steve, because does that not feel to you like when I read that, I get like, oh my, I mean, this is Eintracht Frankfurt all over again. That's what that feels like to me.
Yeah, and he has left before. Before. If we want this manager to sign a new deal, you don't approach it like this.
Yes.
Like he's been pissed off all summer.
Yeah.
And he was last year of his contract. Like you don't approach it like this. Like last summer we made these mistakes.
Yeah.
And then we go and do the same shit again.
I know. This is very frustrating, man. I mean, I think everybody knows, and I was telling you this off camera. I rate Steve Parish very highly. I'm so glad he's our chairman. I think he's fantastic. But on this one, you got to call it when you got to call balls and strikes. And when he's wrong, he's wrong. And if he messes, I'm with you on this 100%, D. You cannot, like, this guy is the guy. You must do something to get together and figure out how to make this work, because if he leaves, if he walks, and everybody is going to see it, and we're going to see like the opportunity we had, and it walks away from us, there's no coming back from that. If you're Steve Parish, I don't see that right now.
I really don't. Yeah, I don't know how you recover from something like that. You can't. You literally you can't cover from something like that. To make matters worse, Bobby asked Glasner if he feels disheartened by how the transfer window has panned out, and he says it's best to not say how I feel. The guy just sounds pissed off.
Yeah,
he just sounds pissed off. I mean, we just won the game, but I hear it because watching that performance, I looking at the bench, watching that performance, I feel pissed off as a fan because we won, but it's like Edward is still coming off the bench, and the guy's not even wanted at the football club. He's just not serious. He's not serious at all. And we lose Eze as the season started. And personally, of course, I'm not a businessman, but I would have the Eze deal on hold until you have a guaranteed replacement lined up. And it's a case of Eze does his medical, and you keep on hold, and the replacement, our replacement, whoever we get in, they do the medical, and it's like, all right, he passed his medical, we pass our medical, complete the deal now. I don't let Eze go tomorrow. I don't let Eze go tomorrow unless I have guaranteed replacement waiting to come through the door. But based on these reports, it seems like we're after a few players. I don't know if Bilal El Khanous will walk through the door on Friday or Saturday. I don't really get that kind of vibe. It seems like we might have an agreement, but we're also testing out the waters. If that's the case, you keep the Eze deal on hold. Like, there's no point selling Eze if we can't get the replacements in. There's no point. Like, the whole purpose of selling Eze is somehow we need to progress as a football club.
Yeah.
And the only way to progress is we bring in 2 or 3 players. And if we don't even have one, like, confirmed, lined up, and ready to come through the next day, I don't know why we're doing this so late in the window. His release clause, there's a reason why his release clause expires 2 weeks before the window shuts.
Right.
There was a reason for that last year as well. Because it's very late on the window. But despite that, we've still said as a football club, oh, it's fine. You know, we'll still sell Eze. His release clause expired. You don't do that unless you have players ready. Because this manager's pissed off.
So there's I am not going to say that this is true, D. This is just something else I read before we came on that I think, so I don't disagree with anything you said just there. There's another report. This one, take this with a giant boulder of salt because this is from the Daily Mail. So it was from the Mail, and the report said that Glasner had a call with Ebbs this morning, and he was, Glasner had Ebbs in the lineup for today. And then this morning, Ebbs called and said he wasn't feeling right to play. And that's when the lineup changed. So I don't know if that's true. And I think you should take that with a giant boulder of salt. Like, should we actually believe the Daily Mail? But I don't think that takes apart your argument, which is still, I think, correct. Like, the way you want to do business is if you know that you are going to sell and you know it's going to be your most important creative player, you have to take steps, especially knowing this manager. So I don't think it invalidates anything you said. It's just a little bit more context, which makes things frustrating.
Yeah. And it will see Parrish, as I suspected, what we said 5 minutes ago, because I did hear him say that about the Guehi situation. Once he signs a contract, he can stay. If he doesn't, we have to look at it. And Oliver Glasner told Guehi that he can't afford to lose him. I mean, I hear that. I mean, I understand what Parrish is saying as well, but don't sell Eze then.
No, and Andy makes a good point.
Don't sell Eze. There's so Guehi. I mean, I think Guehi made the most sense to sell in this window.
Yeah, I mean, and that, if we were going to sell Guehi, it should have been much earlier in the window because we need that back line settled. Andy makes a good point here. I'm just going to read what Andy said. And I think it's fair to say this, Andy, but ultimately I still think it's on the chairman to solve this. But this is what Andy says. Here's the issue. A manager and an owner have different priorities. Don't back the manager and the chairman is wrong. Go crazy and go bust and the chairman is wrong. That's true, but there is a balance. And ultimately, as much as I back Steve Parrish, it is his responsibility to create the conditions through which the manager succeeds. That's his job. And at some point, if the manager feels as though the conditions don't exist for him to succeed, he ain't gonna stay in the job. And so like that's why I agree with you, D. That quote is super worrying because there is, the chairman feels like, well, this is what I've got for you. And Glasner saying like, well, that's not good enough. That there's only one way that goes. And that's with the manager deciding at some point to say like, all right, well, I did what I could here. And I think he'll see out the season. But unless these next 10 to 11 days, geez, D, I mean, I thought I was done with this transfer window before. These next 11 days, I might, have a heart
It's
attack.
crazy. He's going to be busy. He has to
Yeah.
be busy. He has to be busy because Glasner's come out publicly, not only today. I mean, he said it. I think he said it in pre-season. To be fair, he started in Austria when he spoke to Austrian press, and he said that we need players in early, and we haven't quite done that. And ever since then, I mean, now selling Eze is kind of like for him, it must probably be annoyed because all along he said, "Oh no, Eze will be, he will play Thursday. He's going to play against Chelsea. He end up playing against Chelsea." All along he's kind of been on the stance that we're going to be keeping Eze, and he's going to be playing, and then selling him on top of needing players. We have to move fast. We have to have a plan. So what we've got, how many days? 11 days or so left.
Yeah.
And the most
a
annoying
short
thing
amount of time to make things right. But
even if we do bring in the players, it's kind of, I don't know how happy Glazer is going to be because of the fact that we bring them in once again very late in the window.
I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of, this is one of those situations where it feels to me, D, like the board needs to repair the relationship with Glasner. I think they've broken trust now, and now you have to repair the relationship. How they do that, it has to start with a real enterprising next 11 days. You got to.
Yeah. You have to start with the 11 days. You have to show ambition. And then you have to continue from there. And it's just, it's the fact that
nervy.
It's long-term contract. Like we should have.
Very nervy.
Yeah, you can't sell Guehi. I'm sorry, you just can't sell Guehi.
I agree.
You can't. You shouldn't have sold Eze. We didn't have to sell Eze. If you're gonna sell Guehi and his contract situation, then don't sell Eze. Like delay it. Be like, we'll look. We'll wait and see. There's no need to sell Eze tomorrow. Like, and that's the situation. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy 11 days, and hopefully we do get it sorted. Anything else before we wrap up, Tim?
Well, I mean, let's end with the positives. The positives in this are we're through the first leg of a European qualifier, and we've got a 1-0 lead. There's a really good chance they're going to come at us in Norway, and that is going to play into the strengths of this team. So we do have the odds should be with us to get through into the Europa Conference League, league stage. We should get through to that. So that is a positive. We did. I think the timing of it, as much as I agree with this, D, that the timing of it is a little bit suspect. And I think the timing of everything this summer has been pretty suspect. It is still the highest ever transfer fee in the history of Crystal Palace Football Club. And if we are going to follow the model of selling players at peak value, then we got to get better at this. But this is the sort of thing we need to do, but we do need to do it a lot better. So there are things that are good, but it doesn't invalidate the anxiety. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to be feeling it.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be
not.
easy. You look at the squad today, and we're not there. We're not there. And the manager coming out and speaking as he did doesn't give optimism when the chairman saying one thing and manager saying another thing, and the manager
doesn't. Yeah,
he just sounded pissed off.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing about it. He just sounds tired of it now. And I don't know if Eze is a trigger point and the performance today is a trigger. Like, I don't know if that's it, because I think he's always said we need the players, but at this point, he seemed like
I think one of the things we like about this manager as fans is he's honest, he's direct, he tells you what he thinks. He's generally positive, but nobody thinks he's blowing smoke. Everybody believes him and backs him. And so I think that is the reason, much as I like Steve, I think he's on the wrong side of this. I don't know a single Palace fan who does not at least rate Glasner somewhat. And a lot of us rate him as the best manager we've ever had. So get it together, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's see. I'm gonna watch the whole press conference and then go from there. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy 11 days. And it's a risky game for Parish as well. It's a
Same.
risky game because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are now supporting Glasner. Like even those who love Parish, they're behind Glasner. Like if Glasner won, then that's what you should get. So
Yeah.
if he ends up, I don't think he's gonna walk, but if he ends up
I don't
leaving
either.
of lack of ambition, then I think a lot of people will be upset over that because he did say that not too long ago that if Crystal Palace finish in the top 10, then he considers this as one of the elite jobs out there in the Premier League, and we're not far from it. Like, this guy, he can definitely make us finish top 10, and that means he'll stay at the club. But he's telling you what we need. For us to end up in that position. So we just have to go and do it. So yeah, most successful manager in our history. We can't be pissing him off like this.
No.
Especially after last season. So
let's hope. Let's hope. I mean, it could be the hope that kills us, D, but let's hope not. I mean, there's the next 10 days are going to be crucial. And the one thing I know about Steve Parish, this is not my favorite quality of his, but he loves nothing more than pulling a rabbit out of the hat and surprising everybody. Go back to hey, here's the picture of Michael Elise signing the deal and you thought he was gone. Like, I mean, I wish he wasn't. I don't love those little rabbit out of the hat type things. I wish it was more predictable than that. Wouldn't surprise me if we have one of those.
Well, I wouldn't mind one of those now because it feels like
I wouldn't either.
I feel like we need something like that just to give everyone a boost, especially the manager as well.
Same.
So yeah, it is a massive 10 days for the football club going forward. But look, if you have enjoyed this, hit the like button if you haven't already done so, and subscribe, and let us know most importantly in the comment section down below after we end your thoughts on the game and the whole situation. We'll be back tomorrow for the player ratings as well as a match preview, and we've got opposition preview with Wolfie. That's going to be interesting. And then on Sunday, Tim will be doing the watch along, and then I'll be doing the match reaction as well after. So yeah, it's going to be busy few days, and then we got Fredrikstad again on the reverse fixture. So turn on the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Have a good night, people, and until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.